Welcome to J&J Travel. It's Jay and this is Kay. Jay is not here. The other Jay is not here. He's doing something. So my niece Kylie is joining me today, so I didn't have to do it by myself. Say hey, Kylie. All right, so today I wanted to do a video about our recent travel to Havana, Cuba. My husband and I went to Cuba last week and it was so beautiful. It was amazing, but it was also a little different than some places that we've gone to. Going to Cuba as an American is a little, I'm just gonna keep the word different. When you go to some places, you have access to your cars, you can text and call people, all that kind of stuff. But when you're going to Cuba as an American, you feel like you are somewhat closed off. So let me just explain to everybody, because since the recent administration changed some things, a lot of people think that you can't travel to Cuba, and that's not true. So I am going to give you 7 tips or advice on how to prepare for your trip to Cuba, what to do, what to avoid, and all that kind of stuff. So let's just get into it. First thing is, one of the questions that a couple people asked me when they saw that we went to Cuba was, well, oh, I thought travel to Cuba was banned. And travel to Cuba is not banned. What is banned is tourism to Cuba. So there's actually 12 valid reasons where you can travel to the country. And I'm just gonna post the link. I'm not gonna go through all of them. We went under the reason of going to support the Cuban people, which a lot of people go for. But some things could be a family visit, religious activities, and things like that. So as long as you're going over there, not as a tourist, but to do something specific that's valid, you're allowed to go. And the way that you say that is when you buy the ticket, they're gonna ask you, before you purchase the ticket, they're gonna ask you, what is your reason? Choose from the drop-down menu, and boom. And then again, they're gonna send you an email, give your reason, and that's it. It wasn't too difficult. When you go, you're also required, I guess this is a requirement, Cuba requires you to come with 30 days of out of country health insurance, and you also need a tourist visa. So with JetBlue, which is who we flew with, JetBlue's ticket price actually included the required health insurance that we needed. So that was all covered there. And then as far as the tourist visa, there's different ways you can get it. But again, with JetBlue, all you have to do is when you get to the airport, maybe just go about 20-30 minutes, or nah, don't let me give a time. Y'all figure out your own time, because I don't want to be responsible for you missing your flight. You have to get there early enough to get to check-in counter and pay for your visa. It was a $50 fee per person for us to get a tourist visa, and it was like that. Our experience, we left out of the Orlando airport, which is a busy airport, but I think we got there, our flight left at 7:47, and I think we got to the airport at like 5. But we were in and out of that check-in line super quick. So they tell you to get there like 3 hours early. I think that's just to anticipate if it's gonna be busy, if there's gonna be a lot of people. Otherwise, it's a pretty quick process. You just go there, give them your passport. They print out the little tourist visa, and I'll make sure I put a picture of what the visa looks like. Now, what they tell you is that when you get there, they're gonna take a part of it, and then when you get ready to come back home, they're gonna take the other half. That's not what happened with us. What they did when we got to Cuba, at customs, they stamped it. And then we kept it with us, and then when we went back home, when we were leaving Cuba, they just took the whole thing. So they didn't do any of the tearing or keeping apart. So, but it is very important for you to keep that tourist visa. If you lose the tourist visa, then you're stuck in Cuba and you're a Cuban. No, I'm just playing. No, if you lose the tourist visa, you're gonna have to pay that fee all over again. And I have no clue what the fee would be while you're over there. And the dangerous part about that, we'll get to later, is about how you have a lack of using your US-based credit cards or debit cards. So you just want to make sure that you keep that tourist visa with your passport and your other important documents. I know when I travel, my passport, my driver's license, any cards that I have, they stay with me. I don't even care if I go in the beach water. They're staying around my neck. I'm not leaving anything anywhere. They can steal my clothes. They can take whatever they want, but they're not going to take my access to get back home. let's see, we've gone over check-in and departure, which is basically easy. It was nothing extra. What to expect when you get there. That's number 3. When you get to Cuba, when you get to the airport, what I would say is the first thing you want to do is you want to go and exchange your money and get Cuban pesos. You should already bring with you the exact amount of money, or at least more than enough money, that you're going to use in Cuba. You want to bring that in cash or euros or whatever your currency is at home. Because once you land on Cuban soil, as of right now, I'm not sure how it's going to be when whoever sees this video, but as of right now, in 2019, you can't use your US-based credit or debit cards to pull anything from the ATM. They don't work. You can't get someone to cash app you money because that's not going to work. So you need to have cash money in your hand. And as soon as you go outside of the airport, I don't know if you're going to turn left or right, but outside of the airport, there is a currency exchange window. And you're going to exchange your money, your US money or whatever euros, for Cuban pesos. Now there's 2 types of pesos. There is CUC, which is what we tourists use. And then there's CUP, which is what the locals use. So you should be getting CUC, because 1 CUC equals $1, but 1 CUP is like 25 cents or something like that. Like $1 US is like 25 CUP, so it's worth way less. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right currency. But if you go to that window, I want to say it's like government or something, you're going to get it there. Where you want to watch is when you go and you're paying for things at the markets and the restaurants and different things. You want to make sure that the person that gives you your change back gives you back the right currency. And instead of you expecting to get back 5 CUP, which is like $5, they give you 5 CUP, and then they ended up giving you like 50 cents back. So the other thing is you want to prearrange for your transportation from the airport if you can. Or there's, like most places that are busy, there's plenty of taxi services. There is no Uber, so do not expect to use Uber when you get there. Oh, when I get there, I'm just going to go. That's not going to happen. You're going to have people outside in yellow cabs. I think I saw a couple of classic cars, but I don't know. Either way, what we did, we prearranged taxi service with the Airbnb host, and he picked us up from the airport and took us to Havana to our Airbnb. The fee for that was 20 CUC or $20. I have seen someone else was going to charge us 30. So I guess if you pay anywhere between 20 and 30, that's going to be about average. Because it is about a 30-minute trip from the airport to Old Havana. It seems shorter, but they say it's like a 30-minute trip. Getting around the city. If you're staying in Havana, which most people do, in that nice, historic, rustic-looking area, you're not going to want to rent a car. You're not going to want to drive a car. You're going to do a lot of walking, pretty much. And that's what a lot of the locals do in Cuba. You'll see tons and tons of people walking around. The streets are very narrow. The streets are full of potholes. It's a very cramped area, but most of the time you're going to be walking. They do have taxi services there. You can go out and hail a taxi. They also have these little, like, I don't know what they're called. I got to look up the word. But it's these the bikes where it's a guy riding on the bike and then 2 people sitting in the back, like one of those things. They have a lot of those around. And they also have these, like, motor ones. So there's plenty of ways for you to get around. But I would suggest that you go through and you walk. Just walk the city like a local. You're going to pass by a lot of nice markets. You're going to pass by a lot of local restaurants. And it's just a nice thing to do. Whenever you go to anywhere different, I always recommend that you kind of get acquainted and get a feel for the local area. So you don't want to just have the tourist experience. You want to actually feel like you're there. So, oh, and they also have buses. They have something called Trans Tour. We did not get to take it because we didn't want to deal with that over there. But they have bus transportation. They have taxi services. They have the people on the bikes that'll get you where you need to go. But my suggestion is to walk around as much as you can. Get a feel for it. We walked around and although there's no GPS, we were able to kind of get our bearings and find out exactly where our house was that we were staying at by walking, and we learned the streets. So I feel like that's my neighborhood. Those my peoples now, you know. Next thing, what to watch out for. Wherever you go, whenever you're going somewhere out of state, out of country, somewhere unfamiliar, you always want to be aware of certain things. Now, I will say, despite the economic situation over there, I felt very safe in Cuba. People did not appear, you didn't have to worry about the pickpocket situation. Not saying that it's not there, but when we've gone to other places, like, you know, in France or whatever, there's a lot of that going on. So you always have to watch where your bags are and everything. I didn't feel unsafe. But what I will say is there are tourist traps. There are restaurants that will...
Guys.
Bye. You leaving us, baby?
Yeah.
All right. You're going to see Kylie later on another video. Give you some of her little personality, girl. There are places that you're going to come across that, for instance, the average price for a mojito in Cuba is about maybe $2, $3, $4, and I think the most expensive place is going to be at El Floridita, which is a very popular restaurant, bar that a lot of people go to, and they charge $6. So we went to El Floridita, and when we left there, we went walking, and we came to another local, like in someone's neighborhood bar. At the end, when we asked for our bill, we got 2 mojitos. It was $16 for 2 mojitos. So they charged us $8 per drink. Crazy prices. But, I mean, we paid it, but it was a lesson learned. The second time, she's at the door. The second time, we went to a restaurant, and all we ordered was a Cuban sandwich. $6.50, or $6.50 Coke, or $6.50 on the menu. I also got a water, which was $1, and Jason got a beer, which I think was $2. So it should have been like less than $10, I'm thinking, for the whole bill. The bill came up to $17. Why? Because they actually charged him a $6 government tax. They don't do taxes over there in Cuba. There's no sales tax. But again, it was one of those things where it's like, you know what? Okay, lesson learned. So, I think if we were maybe with a tour guide, at the time, we probably wouldn't have gotten taken for a ride like that. Because the next day, we went to a local spot with our tour guide, and we got 3 Cuban sandwiches for $4. So, just an example of how different the prices can be and how you can get caught in tourist traps. So, always be mindful of that. And just be aware, maybe if you're on a tight budget, you may want to ask. And I say that because if people are going to overcharge you and all you have on you is a certain amount of money because you don't have access to any more money, you don't want to get in a situation where you don't have any cash on you and you're still there for another day or two. So that's one of the things that I'll tell you. Another thing is the roads. Watch out for dog poop. Like, there's dogs and cats walking all over. They don't bother you. Like, me, I'm the type of person, I am scared to death of dogs. Like, if I'm outside and it's a random dog, I don't want to be there. But there's dogs and cats walking all around, not bothering anybody. But there's also piles of crap everywhere. So you got to kind of like look down all the time, make sure you're not stepping in nothing if you're walking the streets of Havana. Also, because the houses are like, they're like row houses, and you have like 2, 3 levels to everything, and people have balconies, and the streets are like this narrow. So as you're walking, and there's a little small sidewalk that's like that, as you're walking, sometimes there's water coming. And when I say water, I mean someone could be mopping their floor and they pushing all the water out and it just comes down. There's these hoses that come out from the balcony, and I don't know what kind of water it is. But I'm assuming it's wastewater. I don't know if it's toilet waste, shower waste, kitchen sink waste, mop water. But watch out for that. So try not to walk on the sidewalk, or else you could get splashed, you know. So just to finish it off, what I would say before you go, internet is very scarce there. You're going to need a Wi-Fi card to access the internet. You can't just go off of your cell phone. they don't have it where, oh, if you go to this store, we can just log you on the Wi-Fi. You have to purchase a Wi-Fi card. And I think they're like something like $1 for an hour. But sometimes the lines for these Wi-Fi cards can be extremely long. And then you're only able to access Wi-Fi when you're near a location that offers it. So that's what I mean. Like, as Americans or as just anybody, you're used to just going on your phone, going on the internet, boom, we're done. It's not like that. So I actually was fortunate that the Airbnb I stayed at, he had a cell phone there, and we could use that to either call him or we could turn on his mobile data and hop on his Wi-Fi signal. So I was able to use the Wi-Fi when I went back to my Airbnb room. But I would suggest that you either get the Wi-Fi card or just deal with it. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just different, you know. What you could do also is download some apps on your phone that you may need to use if you need some translation apps, or if you need to remember the places you want to go. Download those on your phone that if they don't require an internet connection before you get there. And also I would suggest bringing a printed map because there is no GPS. If you want to know where you're going, this map was very, very helpful. Good thing though, when I got to the Airbnb, which was great, he had a map there, and it actually was better than this because at the top of his map he had all these things numbered, and he had all these different places we could go to. So we were able to know, oh, we're number 1, this place is here, if we go up San Miguel, turn right. It was the best thing ever, and it was pretty cool actually using a handheld map and not using my phone or GPS. So that's my experience with traveling to Havana. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you've had any experience recently going to Cuba since there's been a travel ban or anything like that, please leave those comments too in case I've missed something. So thank you guys so much. I hope this helped you, and be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks. Bye.